It's time for part 3, Lake of the Ozarks, of our special series on the Mic'd Up podcast with me, William Holtz, and we've got Nathan Rinne once again for part 3. And over the first 2 parts, we've kind of found out exactly what got you so interested and involved, and the reason you have put so much of your life on hold. And really, they've been able to make your life a little challenging at times. And this kind of started well before you were even involved. And on this particular series, or this particular part of the series, I want to talk about Greg Hasty's tenure as our presiding commissioner, because well before Nathan Rinne even came into the mix, there's a few things, if you look back at Cliff Luber and some of the other things, Roland Todd, that I'd say Hasty's been in some headlines over the years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of turmoil in that office over the last 8 years. But there's always one common denominator. People need to look at that, whether it's Roland, whether it's, like you said, Cliff Luber, some employees. There's been some employees. There's one lady, I'll just say her first name, Kathy. She was totally railroaded by Greg. And there's many, many more. Tana, the P&Z director, talk to her. If anybody knows her, go ask Tana Wirtz what happened to her. That was...
Because she's no longer...
Yeah, she got... we don't have time to get into it, but that was a pretty messed up
Just
deal.
for voicing concern with the potential change to the P&Z, she loses her job. But yeah, we don't have time to go into that. But we kind of want to talk about why you feel like, Nathan, that because the presiding commissioner is such a powerful position, why you don't feel like Greg Hasty is to be trusted as Camden County's presiding commissioner. I want to look at his campaign that he's running right now. And it's an expensive campaign. I just looked at the numbers. It's just shy of $30,000 that he spent so far. And when you have, a fief money coming to you and God knows where else, which is all public knowledge, there is more money in his campaign than most people can afford. But what catches me as peculiar is Camden County's economy thrived. We were different. And I don't think that's because of Greg Hasty. If we look at the facts, that's kind of in spite of Greg Hasty.
Yeah, and as far as his campaign spending, I don't know where he's getting his money. I haven't looked that close to it, but yeah, he's put on all his signs. We were different. We didn't shut down. I cannot believe, with the amount of people that have posted his own words, his own stuff that he said. I mean, plus you could still go on the commission and find the shutdown order. We were shut down over 30 days. I mean, it was like March 19th all the way to the end of April. So we absolutely shut down, and he put a penalty out that was a year in prison and a $1,000 fine. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. For one, he put his order in place before the governor. And in fact, there is a post of his where he said, folks, the governor issued his order, but ours still is in place. He put his order before the governor. He also put in the most expansive penalties in the state. He made it a Class A misdemeanor. There was nothing that said it had to be a Class A misdemeanor. He could have said it could have been a Class C or a Class D, whatever.
That was up to him.
Yeah, that was up to the commission, and they wrote it as a Class A misdemeanor, which obviously is the highest you can get before you get into a felony. And Tony Helms, God bless him at the time, he read the room. He had an election going on, and he saw that the people weren't having that. So he put out a statement and said that he would not be enforcing that portion of the ban. Now, if you look, about a month before, when they first did the order, there was a statement made by the sheriff's department that said businesses that violate it would be subject to penalties and that they were going to enforce that. But when we were, not too far away from Easter, and Greg was putting out an order saying if you have more than 10 people in your house, we're going to penalize you for it. That's when Tony came out a few days later and said we're not gonna enforce this.
And not just that, I'm pretty sure we've got it. We'll show you right now. Presiding Commissioner Hasty pleaded to Governor Parson. I'll excuse his typo there, as he thought it was more than one governor, but it's Governor Parson with no S, saying, we need your help. Send the military. There's more visitors and we can't control this. We need help. It's like, that is not somebody that's fighting to keep our county open. So it's an audacious platform that he stands on and wants to take credit for the economy here at Lake of the Ozarks.
It's mind-boggling. I mean, it's like, I don't get it at all. The letter or the post that he made to Governor Parson, he said there's thousands of people in the park. no place to park out here at Ha Ha Tonka and his little personal refuge he has out there, I guess. Yeah, how he can even say and continue to say, no matter how many times people say, Greg, this is all bullcrap. You could just say, hey, we shut down, but then we changed our mind. But no, it's like there's actually in-print advertising out there that I've seen where he says, we were different. We never shut down. We stayed open. No, you did shut down.
Yeah.
You did. You absolutely did.
Took our sheriff because we could say for whatever reason, but if you look into it, I mean, yeah, Sheriff Helms was right around the corner from election. He read the room, realized Camden County does not want this, and so took that. Otherwise, who knows how COVID would have played out down here at the lake.
Sure. And I mean, it started out, look, when it first come around, I mean, there was a small group of people that was against it. I mean, it was crazy to see my countrymen just completely devolve into insanity, like, oh my, we're all going to die. I mean, it was uncertain times. I'll give anybody that. But you know, I said from the very beginning that people need to be able to do what they see fit, because your life is your life to live. And you know, there was a lot of pressure on the commission from business owners, from citizens. I happen to know there was some lawsuits coming. You know, I was coordinating with some people, some bigger businesses down here who weren't really going to stand for it, and it's that's what got them to break out of it.
And
you know?
and not just that, as you know, presiding commissioner Hasty wants to take credit. I think there's also a pattern of fiscal irresponsibility on behalf of the county. I know that your lawsuit against the county and presiding Commissioner Hasty is not the first time that Commissioner Hasty has been listed personally or individually in a lawsuit. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, when Roland Todd sued him, he was listed personally for statements that he made in the media that the judge found that those statements were untrue that he made. You know, he accused him, I think it was that he was stealing his own files. Well, they were Roland's files, and he accused that he had stole them or something. But yeah, he did. Roland sued, and Roland got his own lawyers and paid for his own lawyers.
When you say that, it would lead me to believe, did Greg not?
No, Greg had an insurance lawyer from the county.
That's paid for.
The same thing, yeah, the same thing he's done in my case, actually. And matter of fact, the same lawyers. He had a insurance-provided lawyer. There's no cost to the county other than the yearly premium that they pay anyways. And then he went beyond that and hired these high-profile attorneys out of St. Louis using taxpayer money.
Wait, so you mean they're defending him on behalf of the county, but we've got lawyers that are paid for. He hires better lawyers, but he's not footing the bill for that, meaning taxpayers?
Taxpayers are footing
Is that the same thing that happened in the Roland Todd lawsuit?
Same thing that happened in Roland. And like I said, he hired the same attorneys in my case and his case.
Are they, can you give us insight? Are they cheap lawyers, or is it?
No, they're probably about $700-800 an hour lawyers, somewhere in that range. And he's using them with taxpayer money. And, you know, as far as how, you got me. I don't know. I haven't been able to find where they've had a vote to allow that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how he's authorized that. But
that's important for our taxpayers, our voters to know.
Sure.
Part of your general budget each year that could be going towards, heaven forbid, road and bridge or something like that, or these deputy raises, which was a whole nother story under their watch, is actually going to his legal defense.
And I want to clarify that I never wanted that. I did not want any taxpayer. That's why Greg was named personally, because Greg is the one that made these decisions. I didn't want any of it to fall on the county. I wanted Greg to answer for it because I know that he was the one behind it. Unfortunately, he's played this game and done what he's done. So, and you know, he actually, with Roland Todd's, from my understanding, Roland couldn't fight it anymore, ran out of money, whatever, which I can totally understand that. And Roland got what they call a summary judgment against his case, that basically everything was just dismissed but on a technicality, if I remember right. But Greg and these lawyers came back and tried to sue Roland for it was like $150,000-180,000 that the county had spent hiring these lawyers, and the judge denied that. They said no. something to the effect of you had your insurance lawyers, you didn't have to hire them. That was Roland's lawyer's argument, and the judge agreed with it, is that, yeah, you had insurance provided lawyers, so these were an added thing that you added on.
So Greg goes, presiding commissioner Hasty goes, it's either going to be the taxpayers or it's going to be Roland Todd, but it's not going to be me that pays for my lawyers.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Well, and that's, yeah, it's kind of a pattern.
Pattern of fiscal irresponsibility. And then we look at this new building that was just purchased. What is going on with that?
The annex that we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's still a piece of crap. I mean, anybody can find the pictures of it. It's a...
Oh, I'm talking about the $5 million with the interest, the $2.5 million interest.
Oh, yeah. No, that's for everything. That's for the courthouse. I think they're putting a new awning on the Justice Center, and then they're remodeling the annex. So they're remodeling everything at once.
Yeah, they call it like the new building fund or whatever because they're updating everything.
Yeah,
but there's some hefty interest.
Oh, yeah, they're putting millions into the annex, the Maclier building, which would never be worth it anyways. But that's beyond the point. Yeah, there is a lot of interest. It's like a $5 million bond with $2.5 million in interest. So it'll end up costing the taxpayers $7.5 million for this remodel. Now, the old courthouse, it needs a new roof. It needs new tuck pointing. They're going to remodel some bathrooms, I understand. So, I mean, there's some stuff that you could say that needed to be done there. Now, is right now the time to be doing it? That's debatable. I mean, we're in kind of a limbo as far as our economy, and I guess that's the question that people should ask Greg, if he's been so responsible for the booming economy, which in my opinion was the Trump effect, and he didn't have anything to do with it. It was the economy was moving up as we were going, but when it crashes, is that going to be his fault?
Right.
Greg, if Greg comes and
Are
knocks,
gas prices his fault?
I was about to say, if Greg comes and knocks on your door, are you going to tell him that he's responsible for $5 gas? Because if he's responsible for the economy, if he's trying to take credit for that, well, he's going to have to take credit for all of it.
I want to ask, we saw this report, and I don't know how accurate or truthful it was, that ranked Camden County as like the 7th most fiscally sound county in the state of Missouri. Was that a genuine ranking, or what was going on with that?
I have no idea what all went into that, but I know that it did come from the bonding company that just made $2.5 million in interest off the county.
They wrote that article, or they issued that?
They had something to do with it. I don't remember. I didn't get too involved in it. They basically petitioned around and got the rating from Standard & Poor. But all that basically what they got is it says, hey, you guys can borrow money. They took our numbers that have come in and said, looking at our actual fixed costs, and said, yeah, you can borrow money. I mean, it's not that impressive.
Man,
I like to pay cash if I can.
There's a couple things too we haven't even touched on, and we don't really have time to dig into, like Gravelgate, for instance, was a pretty big deal. The parking lot by the amphitheater. I remember seeing presiding commissioner Hasty have some kind of formula that he wanted credit for that parking lot.
Yeah.
That was like a multi-million-dollar economic impact every concert, and we have him to thank for it.
Oh, no, he said it was at the Dogwood Festival. Every car that parked in there represented $1,000 in economic activity. It's like, you know what? God bless him. I love Greg for that reason only. He never ceases to pull something straight out of his butt. I don't know where he comes up with most of the stuff he's talking about, but when he said that, it was like, what? $1,000 a car at the Dogwood Festival?
Yeah.
On cotton candy? What are you talking about?
Very, very interesting. But he's definitely lifted himself up. He wants credit for the booming economy. It doesn't seem that he wants credit for some of these mishaps and the shape the county truly is in if you dig deep and look. So this is going to wrap up third part of our 4-part series. We'll have the last one coming out in just a couple days, same time that debuts. We'll talk a little bit about prosecutor Caleb Cunningham, talk about what he's done since being appointed, and we'll also let Nathan address the constituents and the people out there leading into Tuesday's election about what the best case scenario would be as well as worst case scenario. You don't want to miss part 4. Will be happening in just a couple days right here on Lake TV.